Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another comic book review. And today's comic book review is Redneck, issue 22. So, what is issue 22 about? It's a very gothic, dark, vampiric comic book. And it's one of those comic books I absolutely love. Not only because it has that gothic overtone and that dark, sinister dread, but also because it has this kind of play on the world of the dead. The kind of escapade why I like things such as The Crow, Has Been Hotel, Hell of a Boss, and all these other franchises that deal with the darker nature of the world. And the comic book Redneck issue 22 is no exception to this. It talks of a man who was pretty much a soldier, and this soldier has been captured in a cage by a bunch of these vampires, which he doesn't know they were vampires originally. As far as he was concerned, he thought they were just people from the south, the west. He thought these were just average country folk. And essentially, what's happened with this soldier is, as we go back in this comic book and go back and kind of have a bit of a flashback to his story, it turns out that this guy was pushed through a lot of doors in life. He didn't have many choices and essentially went down the road he did. And pretty much we have this sinister play between him and this vampiric child who keep, like, arguing over what his true purpose was in life. Did he intend to go to war to hurt, to kill, to massacre people? Or did he do it because it was his duty? And as the pair of them go through his memories, he begins to argue the point that he never enjoyed it. Yes, he enjoyed serving, but at the end of the day, he didn't do it to be a hero. He did it because it's who he is, and it's the one thing he can't change about himself. However, the vampiric child doesn't believe this and believes all of it to be a load of rubbish. However, back in the other room of the castle, it turns out that an old man is arguing with this kind of elder figure who is older than him and immortal as well. And this elder figure is kind of like the grandpa to the family. And he is pushing them all to pretty much destroy this parliament. This group of people. Now, we don't know in this comic book whether this is vampires, zombies, werewolves, any of them, but we do know that whoever they are, if we destroy them, the human world will be torn into rot. We'll have a bunch of an uprising and we'll have people fighting between factions, and the humans will no longer be safe. Now, the old man who saved the soldier is very against this happening. He originally made a deal, but only if someone had been brought back to life. And however, when that person was not brought back to life instantly, he goes back on the deal and pretty much backs away from the whole scenario. However, he soon learns that just because he doesn't take the deal doesn't mean that no one else in the family can. And with all of his family of vampires having their own opinions and outlook on it, his own son turns against him and essentially starts joining this rebellion to cause war with the humans. His excuse is the fact that he has been mistreated by humans and they have hunted his kind, so as far as he's concerned, the ends justifies the means. The old man tries to bring him back to sanity and points out that he sounds just as bad as them, but the son doesn't care and he goes on anyway. Meanwhile, our soldier friend in the cage is left with the doubt of his own past and also the consequences of his own future. He begins to recollect the times that he helped the vampires without knowing they were vampires, how he helped them cut people up and dismember people, all for their own purposes. So, Redneck, issue 22. What did I think of this comic book as a whole? I absolutely loved it. The wording, the way that it comes across, and especially some of the sentences like, I don't think there's anything in the world I wouldn't do to not have to see the life fade from your eyes again. He was the only thing that kept me sane. And the way that one of the main characters, the soldier, is referred to as evil throughout the whole story. Now, I don't know if evil is definitely his name. Someone correct me in the comment section. But if it is not, and it is just a bit of, like, derogatory wording aimed towards the soldier, I think it perfectly fits the narrative on the basis that we don't quite know where this soldier's head is at. All we know is that he is aiming to survive no matter what. So overall, I really love the dark themes of this. I like this underworld, this world of vampires, and the way that the undead are coming back to life. I love this imagery of dead corpses and vampires, and not only that, this imagery of living forever also coming with its own consequences, such as the problem of the land of the living. And for that reason, I give Redneck issue 22 a solid 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next comic book review. Until then, goodbye, stay beautiful, and have an incredible night.